So I'm given an equation in standard form. All of these are in standard form, and I have to kind of manipulate these equations to get them in slope-intercept form, okay? So take a look at this. My slope-intercept form is of the equation y equals mx plus b. I have to have a slope for m and a y-intercept for b. So that means this over here to the left, I have to get this x over to the other side, okay? Then I have to get y by itself. So we're basically just solving the equation for y. That's all we're doing. So for number one, I'm going to subtract 3x on both sides. And keep in mind, I want my x before my constant, before that 16. I want 2y equals negative 3x minus 16, okay? The next step is that I'm going to divide by 2 on both, negative 2 on both sides, sorry. Yes. Yeah, sorry, it's negative. It's negative. I'm going to divide by negative 2 on both sides, okay? When I'm dividing, I divide the whole thing. So now I have y equals negative 3 divided by negative 2 gives me a positive 3 over 2x. And a negative 16 divided by negative 2 gives me a positive 8. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So let's do number 2. Move some of this around. All right, number 2. Let's subtract that 13x on both sides. Okay. So now I have negative 11y equals negative 13x minus 12. Okay. Now I'm going to do what?
Negative 11 on both sides.
Yes, divide by a negative 11 on both sides. So now I have y equals negative 13 divided by negative 11 just gives me 13 over 11x. Negative 12 divided by negative 11 just gives me a positive 12 over 11. I'm not concerned about whether or not you're simplifying the fractions. There are 3 different forms. You can have it in decimal form, improper, or proper form. As far as I'm concerned in math, they're all the same number, okay? So I just leave it like this. And when you put it in your calculator and to graph it, it's still going to be the same line. It's not going to make a difference, okay? I'm going to do one more and then I'm going to leave the rest for you to practice, but I'm going to continue to move on to some of the other problems, and then the rest of the tutorials you guys are going to do individual practice, okay? Let's do number 3. We're going to subtract 9x on both sides. So then I have negative 7y equals negative 9x minus 7. Then I'm going to divide by negative 7 on both sides. You should get enough practice in where it's just automatic for you. You know what the steps are, okay? Negative 9 divided by negative 7 is a positive 9 over 7x. Negative 7 divided by negative 7 is a positive 1. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and move on to number 9. We're going to write the standard form of an equation of the line through a given point with a given slope. So now we have standard form. Standard form of an equation is ax plus by equals c, where a is a positive whole number. Okay, it can't be negative, it can't be a fraction, it has to be a positive whole number. So if I have standard form of equation of the line through the given point with a given slope. So I know that I am given x1 y1, and a slope of 7. I can use my point slope formula. So I've got y minus y1 equals m for my slope, which is 7, times x minus x1, which is 1. Okay. Now I can distribute the 7 into my parentheses. So now I have 7x minus 7, and I'm going to bring this y minus 2 down here. Okay. I'm going to move everything up here. Y minus 2 equals 7x minus 7. Now notice my equation down here. I got to get this x over to the other side, then I got to get this 2 over to this side, right? How do I get this 7 over here?
Minus 7.
I got to, minus 7x on both sides. Okay? So now I have negative 7x plus y minus 2 equals negative 7. Now what do I have to do?
Add 1 or add 2.
Yep, add 2. I can't have a constant over there. Okay? So now I have negative 7x plus y equals, what's negative 7 plus 2? Negative 5. I'm running out of a little bit of space here. Can I have a negative in front of that 7? What do we do to get rid of that negative since it has to be positive?
How'd you get plus y?
Because this y is positive. Unless there's a negative sign, it's positive. How do I get rid of a negative? What times what is a positive? Negative times a negative. So I can multiply the whole thing by negative 1. If I multiply this side by negative 1, I have to multiply this side by negative 1. I'm sorry that I'm running out of space. So I end up with a negative 1 times negative 7, which is a positive 7, and a negative 1 times a y, which is a negative y, and negative 5 times a negative 1 gives me a positive 5. Okay? So this is the answer for number 1. Or, I'm sorry, number 9. Okay. I'm probably going to end up, I'm going to do 2 more of these, and I think I'm going to have to insert another page because there's a lot of work that's involved. All right, let's do 10 and 11. Let me insert a page here. All right, number 10. What are the points? 3, negative 1. And what is our slope?
Negative 1.
Okay. All right, so I have my point slope formula. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. This is x1, this is y1, and this is m. So I have y minus negative 1 equals negative 1 times x minus 3. Okay? Now I'm going to simplify because this is a negative, and a negative, we got 2 negatives that make a positive. Then I'm going to distribute this negative 1 into my parentheses. So then I have negative x plus 3. You guys with me so far? Okay. Now I know I need it in the form of ax plus by equals c. So I got to get this x over to the other side, right? Add x. Now x is already positive. I don't have to do anything special. Rewriting everything. That's a plus 1, by the way. No, it won't. Sorry. How do I get rid of this plus 1? Subtract. So now I have x plus y equals 2. That's the standard form of the equation. Okay? Is this starting to make a little bit more sense now?
Yeah.
The more you work it out. If you're running out of room, just grab some scratch paper and put it all together. Just make sure that when you're working these out, it's nice and neat. You can follow the procedure that you completed. That's the whole point of being able to study properly, is if you could follow whatever procedure it was that you did. Okay, I'm going to open up another page and we'll do number 11. So, number 11, I have what points?
Negative 2, 5.
Negative 2, 5, and then I have a slope of what? Okay, so remember I've got y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Y minus 5 equals negative 4 times x minus negative 2. I'm going to go ahead and simplify inside my parentheses since I have two negatives going on. I really have x plus 2, okay? Now I can distribute this 4, so I have y minus 5 equals negative 4x, and then negative 4 times a positive 2 is negative 8. Am I going too fast? Am I good? Okay. Okay, Erica? All right. So now what do I do here? I got to get this x over, right?
Plus 4.
Plus 4x on both sides. So now I have 4x plus y minus 5 equals negative 8. Last step,
Add 5.
add 5. What's negative 8 plus 5?
3.
Negative 3. That's it. You guys good? Move on. Let's see, I'm going to leave those practice problems for you guys. Point slope formula. Okay, the difference between this, I just did point slope formula with you when we were writing those in standard form. Y minus, you're going to be using this so much you're going to get sick of it. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Notice I use it so much that I practically memorized it. Write the point slope form of the equation of the line described. So here it's telling us there's a point. These are your points, x1, y1, but if the line is parallel to y equals negative 3/4 x minus 5. What does parallel mean?
That makes it like
Has the same slope, okay? So basically all I'm given is this. All I need is this from this equation, that's it. Then I'm going to write the rest of my information in this format, okay? So I have y minus y1, which is 2, equals negative 3/4 times x minus x1. Ta-da! That's your answer. That's it. You understand how we got that, Christy? You don't get it? Okay. This is our point slope formula. We're going to use these points, so it says through the points x1, y1, it's parallel to y equals 7/3. I don't need this whole equation, I just want this part because I know it's parallel. Parallel means that it has the same slope. So just like these questions right here, see how I gave you the point slope formula? It gave us the points and the slope, and we just plugged it in. That's all this is doing. It's giving us the points and the slope. It's just confusing you because it's saying that it needs to be parallel to this equation. Yes, it's going to be parallel because it has the same slope. All I need to write my equation in point slope form is this slope right here and these 2 points, and that's it. Does that make sense? A little bit? Well, it takes a little bit of practice. So y minus, what's y1? Minus negative 3 equals, what's the slope? 7/3 times x minus, what's x1? Negative 3. That's it. Now I can rewrite this because I want to simplify. These end up being positive, right? So then I end up with y plus 3 equals 7/3 times x plus 3. That's it. That's my answer. Okay. Let's do one more, and then I'll further describe the different forms of that linear equations are written in before we move on to graphing. Okay. All right. I'm going to write this in point slope form with the points of x1, y1 with -4, 0. That is parallel to y equals 3/4 x minus 2. I only need to know that I have 3/4 because it's the same slope. Okay. So I've got y minus y1, which is 0, equals 3/4 times x minus -4. Anything subtracting, like 0 subtracted from anything, is just itself. So I just have y equals 3/4 times x plus 4. So I got two negatives in there that end up being positive. And that's it. We just leave it. We don't distribute or anything like that. We just leave it just like this. Okay? Let me know when you're ready. I'll insert another page. Ready? Okay, so let's review real quick the different forms of linear equations. We have the slope intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. We're so used to slope intercept form, right? The reason why we call it slope intercept form, just to help you remember, is that this is your slope and this is your intercept, okay, for the y-axis. Does that make sense? I mean, that's pretty standard right there, a standard explanation just to help you remember. Slope intercept means my equation has to look like this with the slope and then the intercept, okay? Then I have standard. Standard form, ax plus by equals c. And in red, I'm going to say that this a has to be a positive whole number. Okay? Then we have what we just finished doing is point slope. Point slope form you guys don't like at all. Like nobody likes doing point slope. Which is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Why do you think they call it point slope instead of slope intercept? Well, it's because you have a point and a slope. Point, point, slope. Right? I don't need to know what this is or this is. I just need to know that this is a point, this is my other point, and this is my slope. Does that make sense? A little bit? That's starting to make a little bit more sense. I hope so. You guys ready? Just go back and review the video, study. You know, it just takes time and practice, and those questions will give you lots of practice. Okay.
Are we gonna have tutorials on Thursday?
Yes, there will be tutorials on Thursday.
You also have the fun markers. The rainbow one and the smiley face one.
Yes. Okay. I gave you guys a standard form of equations, and we're going to graph them. And I'm going to do two examples. It's actually really simple to graph an equation in standard form. It's actually, I think, a little bit easier than to graph an equation in slope-intercept form. So if I want to graph the equation of these lines in standard form, all I need to know what are my intercepts. And the only way I know what my intercepts are is when I have x equals 0 gives the y-intercept, and when y equals 0, it gives the x-intercept. Plug the zeros in. That's it. So first, let's get the y-intercept. So I'm going to take x equals 0 right here to get my y-intercept. So if I plug 0 in for x, I get 4 times 0 plus y equals 0. Anything times 0 is 0, so y equals 0. My y-intercept is 0. Okay? Now let's plug 0 in for y. So I have 4x plus 0 equals 0. Does that make sense? So now I just have 4x equals 0. Anything, if I divide this by 4 on both sides, I basically just have x equals 0. So my x and my y-intercept happen to be 0. When I have my x and y-intercept equal to 0, I'm basically just going to have a parent function going on, okay? Or something very similar to it with a different slope. So in order for us to be able to graph this, okay, since we both have intercepts at 0, 0, I know that if I take this, let me extend 4x plus, so I've got 4x plus y equals 0. If I take this to figure out what the slope is, since my intercepts are 0, 0, I have to subtract 4x on both sides. Okay, does that make sense? So then I have y equals negative 4x. So what would my slope be? Negative 4, right? So basically I'm just going to go down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1. Does that make sense? So now I know it's negative. Just like that. Okay. And then you'll just draw your, whoops, that is a horrible line. Let me get rid of that. Hold on a second. Sorry. Delete. I'm not even going to try to draw a line through that. You guys know what I'm trying to do. Okay. Now let's look at this number 2. Draw a line here, separate my work. If I plug 0 in for y, I get 10x minus 3 times 0 equals negative 15. This times 0 times anything is 0, so then I just have 10x equals negative 15. Divide by 10 on both sides. X equals, just negative 15 divided by 10. And now 10 goes into 15 one time. We keep that negative with 5 left over. 5 over 10 simplifies to what? 1/2. So it's negative 1 1/2, or negative 1.5. So over here on my x-intercept, I'm going to plot it right here. And then I'm going to go ahead and get my y-intercept by plugging 0 in. 10 times 0 minus 3y equals negative 15. I got negative 3y equals negative 15. Divide by negative 3 on both sides. Y equals 5. So my y-intercept is 5. I'm going to go up to 5. Okay. So now the question is, how do I get my slope? I know I have to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and over how many? 1.5. So this makes that little right triangle, right? So I went up 5 and over 1.5. My rise over run. And if you use your calculator, what slope does that give you? Or is there a way to simplify this fraction?
You can produce one 3.
So 3 1/3.
Yes.
Okay. So we have a slope of 3 1/3. Okay. Or you could say 10 over 3. So you go up 10 over 3. Okay. So this is basically, this is a really spacious. There's a lot of space in between the points as you're going up and over. Okay. You guys want to do one more graphing one?
Yes.
Okay, and then you guys will have 15 minutes to work independently. Okay, if I plug 0 in for x, what is y going to equal?
Negative 3.
-3. If I plug 0 in for y, what is x going to equal? Bam, this one is pretty easy. So in order to get my slope, I would go down 1, 2, 3, and over 1, 2, 3. So my slope is -1 over 1. So you're just going down 1 over 1. Down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1. Okay? And then you'll just draw your line straight through. What about this one? How do I graph x equals 5? You guys had some problems with this earlier. How do I graph x equals 5? It's at 5 and it's just this line straight up and down. This has an undefined slope. Why? Because if I were to try to climb, I can't stand on it. I just fall off. Falling off. Now if it were going this way, I'd be able to stand on it, so I'd be at 0. Okay? If it were horizontal. If it's vertical, it's undefined. Okay? I'm going to let you guys do some practice problems and I'll work with you individually. This will be up on Edmodo.